I feel a lot calmer without the noise of Trump and paying attention to his every word and misunderstanding and looking for dog whistles everywhere. But I have the sense that we now have an administration that has high production values, and it knows how to give the impression of things being under control. And frankly, I don't think it knows what it's doing. I think it is playing with fire, especially with respect to things like the culture wars. There are certain areas where it is clearly preferable to the approach of the Trump administration. But I don't have the sense that we are in good hands. And I do have the sense that most of the people that I talk to have breathed a sigh of relief, and that is going to leave the foxes in charge of the hen house without anyone even paying attention to what's happening to the birds.
Yeah. And Brett, I think we may be having a heated agreement here. I don't disagree with you at all about this. And I certainly did not mean to suggest that, all is well in America land now. Not at all. What I simply wanted to convey was that, the fun of mudslinging wears off quickly. And now it's time to scrutinize what this Biden-Harris administration is doing. And I have to tell you, I do think that particularly on the Harris side, we are going to get an inflaming of the culture wars. I don't trust that she appreciates how diverse this country is. And by diverse, I mean diversity of viewpoint, not just diversity of demographics. I think that she is an opportunist. She has shown herself to be, and that she will curry favor with anybody in the progressive camp who wants to inflame the culture wars. So we're not out of the woods by any stretch. But it's just now we can begin talking details rather than merely commenting on Trump's latest outrage.
Yes, I feel like we are in the woods having been pumped full of Valium so that we're not even aware that there might be, things that we need to pay attention to. Now, I regard Harris as a perfectly cynical entity who will do anything that advances her cause. And I regard Biden a little bit differently. I see him as sort of planktonically corrupt, that he's been carried along with the culture of corruption in the Democratic Party for the better part of his career, and that he has now landed in this position of tremendous power, and he's still behaving in a planktonic fashion. That is to say, he's going the direction that the winds blow on his side of the aisle. And what I meant to imply, as I said that we were disagreeing and you challenged me and said we are in heated agreement, which I also think is likely, is that the day that Donald Trump was elected and everybody was in shock, I had a bizarre feeling of relief, not at his election, because I wasn't relieved at that, though I would have been terrified in a different way if Hillary Clinton had been elected. But I had the sense that suddenly an entire class of people was wide awake for the first time in recent memory, that the election of Donald Trump was so far outside of what was expected that all kinds of people who are not aware of how dangerous the political machines have become, especially on the blue team, were processing information directly for the first time and trying to understand what planet they were living on, and that was a very healthy phenomenon. Now, I think it degraded into something over the course of the Trump administration that was very unhealthy, but being awake is a prerequisite to figuring out how we lost the thread and how we can possibly return to rational governance. And I am now troubled by watching people return to a kind of complacency because what's on the news is now so familiar looking that it seems like somebody must be in charge, when in fact, I don't think that's even remotely the case.